The story begins when manager Kim bows in front of a girl who fought with his daughter, while Minji stands beside him trying to explain that the other girl started the fight, but no one listens, and the girl's mother keeps shouting louder and louder. She demands that the school form a committee for school violence and wants Minji punished so it stays in her record. The principal looks serious and says this is already the third time Minji has fought with Hyeri, and reminds Kim that Hyeri's father is a famous man in the country, and people say he is going into politics, and nothing good will happen if this gets bigger. Kim feels ashamed and embarrassed and lowers his head and apologizes to everyone in the room, even though his daughter is still standing there. Minji gets upset and angry and refuses to eat when they get home. She says she doesn't want to go to school anymore, and she asks what is wrong with him and why other dads are congressmen or chairmen with power while her dad is just a company manager with nothing. She starts crying and asks why she was even born when he had nothing to give her. She says she feels embarrassed being his daughter and then walks out saying she is going to Hyeryung's house and he should not come after her. After some time, while she walks to her friend's home, Hyeri and her friends appear and block her way, and Hyeri slaps her again without saying anything. Minji grabs her hair and the two start fighting right there on the street, pulling and hitting each other, and no one tries to stop them. Then Minho steps forward. He is the boy who likes Hyeri, and without warning, he kicks Minji, and she falls to the ground. Minho grabs her by the head and begins to beat her again and again, while everyone around just watches without moving. Suddenly, Hyeri runs at full speed and throws a stone that hits Minji on the head and she falls, and there is blood on the road and everyone stands still because they see she is not getting up, and they realize she has died. Now they are scared and don't know what to do, and Minho quickly calls someone and tells him what happened, and the man agrees to help when he hears that Hyeri is the daughter of Chairman Gangchan-ju from Juyung Constructions. At home, Kim has made food and is waiting at the table hoping his daughter will come home soon so they can eat dinner together. The crew arrives and the leader says he is helping only because Hyeri is the daughter of Mr. Ju and tells them they will use a machine to make the body disappear completely. It is already 12:30 and she has not come home, so Kim gets up and decides to find her himself. He walks through the streets and sees a crowd gathered and hears people talking about blood on the road, and then he sees something on the ground. It is a rubber band, and he picks it up and remembers it belongs to Hyeri. Now he feels something is wrong. Hyeri and Minho are walking on another street, and Minho keeps telling her to stay quiet and that nothing will happen if they don't say anything. They are heading home when Kim appears in front of them and asks if they have seen his daughter, but Minho grabs him by the collar and tries to scare him away. Kim does not move and then looks at Hyeri and asks if the rubber band is hers and says he found it in an alley, but Minho steps in again and warns him to walk away and stay out of it. Kim remembers a moment from the past when he first heard he had a daughter and how he had told his officers to let him go or he would do something dangerous, and they got so afraid that he was released and left the military just for her. Now he stands here not as a manager but as a father and stares at Minho, who starts taking off his shirt and shows his body like he is ready to fight. But then Kim removes his own shirt, and to their surprise, his body has so many scars and marks. They soon realize this is not just any man, he is a former sergeant, and he is wanted in North Korea with money offered for his capture, and even special teams in China and Russia have searched for him. Then, in one move, he punches Minho so hard that the boy flies into the air and lands on the ground with a crash. Then Kim asks him about his daughter again. He folds Hyeri's hairband around his neck while she starts crying and begs him to let them go, but Kim stays calm and tells them to give him the name of the place where they took his daughter. Minho looks scared and says he doesn't know the location, but tells him everything about the man who took Minji's body. He says the crew leader is the one in charge, and they handed the body to him. Far away, the crew leader Mincheol is torturing a man and yelling at him to return the loan money soon, or else his daughter will pay the price, and he does not mean with money. The men nearby say that the girl will have her organs taken out and sold, and she is already in the place where they do this work. Kim arrives at that location and knocks on the door and waits, and a boy walks to Mincheol and says someone is outside, but Mincheol tells him to close the door and send the man away. Suddenly there is a loud noise and the door breaks open and Kim steps inside, and when one of the men tries to stop him, Kim moves quickly and dodges the attack without breaking a sweat. He grabs the man and punches him straight in the face, and then he throws a rope over the ceiling and ties the man's feet and swings him up so fast that he can't move anymore. He walks over and asks where his daughter Minji is, but the man says he doesn't even know any girl with that name. At the same time, Mincheol jumps out of a window and starts running, his heart racing, thinking that maybe Kim is a police officer who knows everything about them and has come to shut them down. But before he can get far, he trips on something and falls to the ground hard, and then sees the wire stretched across the path, and he realizes Kim set a trap. Kim catches up and grabs him and starts beating him again and again until Minchil starts to speak, and he says he doesn't know everything because the crew only gets messages through Telegram and they only show up when they get called. Kim leans down and asks how they contacted the crew today, and when Minchil stays quiet, he punches him again and demands answers. He pulls out a gun and says he is not a man of the law and he doesn't care about right or wrong anymore, just about finding his daughter. Minchil starts to laugh a little, thinking Kim won't shoot, but Kim shoots him in the leg and Minchil screams, shocked that he really pulled the trigger. Kim tells him he left him alive because he still believes Minji is not dead, and he needs him to speak. Then Kim checks Minchil's phone and sees a message that says they are putting Minji on a ship and that they already confirmed she is dead. He reads the message and starts crying, but after a moment, he wipes his tears and holds himself together and tries to call the number from the message, but no one picks up because the group thinks it's the police calling. Their boss tells everyone to stop answering any calls from unknown numbers and also deletes all the group chats, and Kim suddenly gets a notification on the screen that says the chat does not exist anymore. He turns to Minchil and asks why the chat is gone, but Minchil says they deleted the group and now there is no way to reach them again. Kim grabs him by the neck and yells at him to find a way and contact them fast, and he starts beating him, again hitting him without stopping. But then, the man who Kim tied up earlier sneaks behind him with a knife and stabs Kim in the back while Minchil shouts at him to stab deeper and again until Kim dies. The man asks if he does this, will Minchil clear his loan, and Minchil says yes, just stab him one more time and end it. The man gets ready to strike again, but before he can, Kim stands up, pulls the knife out of his own back, and is about to stab him in return when the police arrive. One of the officers shouts at Kim to drop the knife and they all point their weapons, calling in a case of an armed attacker. They grab him and take him to the station, saying he tried to kill people, and was carrying a gun too. They check his ID but find nothing in the system, so they scan his fingerprint, but the system says access is blocked and the file is locked. The officers are shocked and whisper to each other because they didn't know anyone in their country could be hidden like this. A man there says Kim did all of this just to find his daughter, and that's why nothing shows up. Suddenly, Kim's phone starts ringing, and an officer checks the screen and tells him the call is from someone named Minji. The moment he hears his daughter's name, Kim loses control and attacks the officers, beating everyone in the room like nothing can stop him. The phone keeps ringing and he shouts at them to be quiet and answers the call, breathing hard, and calls out his daughter's name, Minji, but she doesn't say anything. He keeps calling her again and again, but the computer voice says the person he is trying to reach is not available. He doesn't stop to explain anything and runs away from the police station. After he's gone, the head officer yells at the others and asks how one man beat all of them alone and what people will think when they find out about this. Then a man walks in and flashes a card in front of the officer, and without waiting, he slaps him so hard he falls down to the ground. He asks if he's the one in charge here and says he is the director from the bureau under National Special Operations and his code name is Groundhog. He says they came because this police station tried to open Kim's record, and now they are here to find him, and they've already confirmed where Kim's daughter is, and they are tracking his phone's GPS to find him too. The GPS shows that Kim is at a taekwondo gym where a man is training a group of children. Inside, the taekwondo master Hansu Seong walks over and asks why Kim has come to him after so long, and Kim tells him that his daughter is dead. Seong listens quietly and then nods, while outside, the special agents are already near the gym. Kim says Seong was his only friend, the only person he could trust, so he came here first, and Seong tries to comfort him and says he will help him. He owes him that much. He tells Kim to wait a little until he sends the children home. Groundhog finally arrives at the gym and walks inside, smiling and playing with one of the kids, but Seong suddenly kicks him in the face and knocks him to the ground. Then Seong tells the children they are closing early and they should go home. Now, and while the kids are leaving, Groundhog tries to attack again, but Kim steps in and grabs his arm to stop him. Groundhog is happy to see Kim because they have been looking for him for a long time, but Seong doesn't stop and keeps attacking and hits him again and again until he's down on the floor. He moves so fast that nobody can even follow him and beats all the agents, flying from one side to the other like he's floating, and they can't touch him. But then they hear his name and all go quiet, because now they know he's Hansu Seong, the national taekwondo representative, a legend. Even North Korea once asked him to join their team. He grabs Kim and together they escape from the gym and start running away. While running, they try to think what to do first, and Seong says they should take Kim to get treated, but Kim says no, not yet. They find a van and drive it away fast, and when they get inside, it looks like a base station filled with gear and screens, and Seong tells him to adjust the frequencies and connect into the system. Kim starts working on it and soon finds the last location of his daughter's phone, which is not far from where they are. They drive there and reach a gate where a huge group of students are waiting and blocking the way, and Kim looks out the window and sees the sign. They are from Mabuk High School, the worst high school in all of South Gyeonggi-do. Seong looks at Kim and asks if he's sure his daughter is really there, and just then, their vice head Ijin steps forward and asks what they want, telling them that everyone is gathered here to fight another crew, and if they don't want to, get hurt. They should leave now. But Kim doesn't stop and walks into the school with Seong behind him, and he says Minji's phone location is on the first floor of the centermost building, and they need to turn left at the entrance. Ijin grabs Kim by the collar and tries to stop him, but Kim hits him back and knocks him to the ground, then steps on his chest and asks if he's seen a girl named Minji Kim, a girl wearing a black blazer and red tie. He warns them not to get involved if they haven't seen her. Somewhere inside, one of the boys tells their leader that something is going on outside, but he thinks it's just another crew fight and tells him to ignore it. Meanwhile, Kim starts beating the students, one by one, and he's so strong that 3 or 4 of them fall down with just one punch. Other students watch silently, not sure what to do, and then Seong enters the scene and asks if anyone has seen Minji Kim, but they get angry when they see him, and one of them pulls out a knife and tries to stab him, but Seong dodges fast and flies through the air, and they are shocked that he can stay up so long like he's floating. Suddenly, their other vice head, Yeonjun-ji, arrives and he's holding an axe and dares Seong to fight him, but Seong kicks him once and takes him down just like that. He tells them he's heading to the central building, and they look scared, because that's where their main office is. Then Kim arrives and also knocks out the others who try to stop them. Their main leader shows up and demands to know who they are and why they're beating his people, and he runs at Kim, but Kim grabs his arm and throws him into the air, slamming him into the ground. Then the door of the main office crashes open, and Kim walks in with the leader held by the collar, and the students inside think it's the police and panic. But they calm down when they see it's just an old man, thinking maybe he's a teacher. Kim looks around the room and spots 2 cartons filled with cell phones, and in the corner he sees a boy who looks like he's in charge, and that boy has Minji's phone in his pocket. Kim walks straight to him and asks where he got the phone, and the boy says it belonged to the girl from last night. Hearing that, Kim's face changes and his anger grows even more. Kim starts beating the boy, slapping him over and over until he begs for his life, asking Kim to let him go. Seong steps in and tells Kim to stop because the boy will die at this rate, then asks him if he's seen his daughter. The boy finally admits he was lying, saying he never saw Minji. He explains that his friends stole the phone for him, and they brought him many phones. He unlocked all of them and removed all the protections. He separated Minji's phone from the rest, and since the only number in her contacts was her dad's, they mistakenly called him. The boy also tells them that there was someone named Haeryung in her messages, and he remembers she was Minji's only friend. Last time, Minji told him she was going to her house, but when he reads their chat now, he realizes that Haeryung wasn't really her friend at all. She had been using Minji, taking money from her regularly. Back at school, Haeryung came to Minji one day asking to borrow her phone because her parents took hers. Kim regrets not knowing how Minji lived and that her so-called best friend was only using her for clothes and money. He regrets not realizing earlier because Minji must have been hurt so much, keeping it all inside and never sharing any of it. Seong tells him that first, they need to find Minji, and then Kim can apologize for not giving her the attention she needed. Seong grabs the boy by the collar and demands to know where he got the phone, and the boy says it came from a man who sells things like that. He explains that the man showed him the phone and gave him a contact number. He remembers seeing the man throw things on the road, and when he went to look, some gangsters came and snatched the phone from him. Kim asks if he remembers their license plate numbers or any of their faces, but the old shakes his head, saying he doesn't remember anything about them. Kim grabs the old man by the collar again, shaking with frustration, and demands him to say something, anything, that might help him find those gangsters, and after a long pause, the old man finally mutters that they were driving a BMW and one of them was bald and that's all he remembers, nothing more. Seong steps in and tells Kim to move aside, saying that's more than enough to begin with, and it looks like the old man doesn't know anything else anyway, no matter how much they press him. Meanwhile, somewhere else by the quiet shore, the crew members carry Minji's lifeless body near the beach where their boss stands waiting. He tells them to wrap her up in a rug because it's already been hours since she died, and now the body is starting to give off a smell, so they roll her up tightly, carry her to a small room, and place her inside a room freezer. One of them nods and says the delivery is done, and now all they need is the money from Chairman Ju. The boss stares out at the dark waves and mutters that Chairman Ju is nothing more than an animal wearing a human mask, and deep inside he's always wanted revenge on that man. Now that Ju's daughter has killed someone, he says this is the perfect chance, the one he's been waiting for his entire life. Back with Kim and Seong, Kim pushes him to drive faster, saying if they wait even a minute longer, they might lose the gang for good. Seong slams the pedal and they race toward another location, while Kim taps furiously on his laptop, hacking into all the nearby security cameras in the area. He runs the homeless man's face through the facial recognition system, and after a few seconds, a match pops up from the night before. In the footage, a man steps out of a car, and Kim runs that face too. It's Sangmin Kim, 41 years old with 2 past convictions, but no car registered in his name, which means either the vehicle was rented or he's working under someone who owns one. Suddenly, out of nowhere, a car slams hard into their van with a loud crash, and everything spins as they lose control, the tires screeching and metal twisting until the van flips over and lands upside down. Blood runs down their faces as both Kim and Seong lie dazed inside, barely conscious. But Kim still clutches his laptop and manages to pull up Sangman's current location. It's near the Western Sea in South Korea, exactly 9.2 kilometers away from where they are right now. As silence settles over the wreckage, the sound of a car door opening cuts through the air, and Groundhog steps out of the other car with a gun in his hand, calm like a man who's done this too many times, but deadly enough that one wrong move means the end. Seong tries to hold Kim back, weakly grabbing his arm, but Kim shakes his head and whispers that if they let that man live, he'll keep coming after them, again and again, no matter where they hide, so it's better to finish it, here and now. Detective Kang shouts at Code 88 to come out of the overturned van, expecting one person, but it is Hansu who steps out instead. Hansu calmly raises his hand while Kang demands to know where Code 66 is hiding. What Kang doesn't know is that earlier, Hansu had talked Kim out of going through with his plan. Hansu tells him that killing Detective Kang would only make things worse for both of them. So Hansu decides to distract Kang while Kim runs to find Minji. Right then, the van explodes behind them, throwing Detective Kang into confusion. At the same time, Kim uses the blast to slip away unnoticed. He dashes across the scene, then jumps over the edge of the bridge and dives straight into the cold river below. Back near the wreckage, Hansu and Kang remain locked in a tense standoff. Hansu slowly walks toward him, but Kang struggles with the idea of shooting someone unarmed. As Hansu gets closer, Kang finally fires, but it's too late. Hansu knocks the gun from his hand and kicks Kang backward. Kang quickly reaches behind his back and pulls out another gun. He starts firing again, but Hansu keeps flipping and twisting, making every bullet miss. Kang stops to reload, ready to finish him off, but Hansu is already gone from sight. Suddenly, Hansu flies overhead, flips through the air, and kicks down toward Kang. Kang narrowly avoids the blow, but Hansu follows up with another kick that knocks the second gun away too. Kang doesn't stop. He pulls out a knife and rushes at Hansu. The two begin fighting again. Hansu lands several strong punches and kicks, but the blade catches his cheek, leaving a small cut. Just as the fight gets more intense, Kang's backup finally arrives, but Hansu doesn't give them a chance to step in. He leaps high into the air and throws a spinning roundhouse kick toward Kang. Kang thinks it's too far to reach him. He watches in disbelief as Hansu spins once, then twice, then again, and one more time, before slamming his kick straight into him. The force is so strong it sends both men crashing into the water below. Meanwhile, Kim has finally reached the port. He spots a white BMW and follows the trail of blood past the rows of metal shipping containers. Somewhere nearby, Minji is trapped inside a freezer. She has managed to loosen her restraints and is now trying to escape. She tugs hard at the heavy freezer door, but it won't budge, so she begins banging on it, yelling for help, her voice echoing in the cold silence. But no one comes. Tired and freezing, she sinks to the floor, shivering as the cold drains her strength little by little. Then, just when all hope feels lost, the freezer door slowly swings open. Minji sees the freezer door open, hoping it's her father, but instead, it's Kai. Kai steps inside, phone in hand, trying to call Chairman Ju, but there's no answer. As he looks around, he notices strange footprints all over the freezer floor. Minji holds her breath and covers her mouth, praying he doesn't see her in the shadows. Suddenly, the security guard who was stabbed earlier crashes into Kai, tackling him to the ground. The man isn't dead after all, just badly wounded, but still strong enough to make one last move. In the struggle, Kai stabs him again. The fight is brutal but quick, and as they scuffle, Kai's phone flies from his hand and lands just inches from where Minji is hiding. It lights up and rings. Chairman Ju is calling. The The guard's body drops right in front of Minji. She watches in horror, but Kai doesn't see her. He picks up the phone and starts talking. He greets Chairman Ju casually, and Chairman Ju replies by saying his daughter now owes Kai her life. He suggests they should meet face to face, but Kai's tone sharpens. He tells Chairman Ju to stop, pretending he has power. He orders him to bring 2 billion in cash to the location. No police, no bodyguards, especially no manager Nam. If Chairman Ju tries anything clever, Kai promises to expose everything, that Minji is a murderer and that her father covered it up. After the call ends, Chairman Ju tries to comfort his daughter, softly telling her everything will be okay. But when he turns away, his face is hard with fury. He gives a sharp order to manager Nam to withdraw 500 million right now. Meanwhile, back in the freezer, Kai gets ready to leave. He steps toward the door, but just as he's about to shut it, he and Minji lock eyes. His cigarette falls from his lips in shock. Minji doesn't hesitate. She rushes forward and slams the heavy door closed. Kai tries to pull it back open, but it's already locked tight, and Minji is now sitting behind it, holding it closed with all her strength. Kai fumbles for his phone and tries calling Sangma and the others for backup, but to his surprise, no one is answering. Because just a few moments ago, Kim had spotted them inside an office. He had seen Sangma's face through the CCTV footage and quietly closed the office door behind him. The goons inside the office glare at Kim, asking who he is and why he's there. One of them steps forward, raising his fist like he's ready to punch, but Kim stays calm and simply holds up Minji's phone, the same one they threw away earlier. That stops them in their tracks. While Kai keeps trying to reach Sangma and the others, his phone finally rings. It's the backup he called earlier, and they're almost there. Among them is a mysterious figure completely covered up, known only as Kangmin. Kai gives them instructions. He tells the group to check the office first and look for Sangma, but Kangmin is told to go straight to the freezer. By now, the office is a total mess, torn apart from Kim's earlier fight. Kim is outside, chasing down a battered and panicking Sangma. Sangma scrambles up a tall crane, yelling down to Kim, asking if Chairman Ju sent him. He blurts out that they got a call about a body. They were told to move it, but the girl was already dead when they arrived. Kim doesn't understand, yells back, demanding to know what Sangma is talking about. Who is Chairman Ju, and what does this have to do with his daughter? But Sangma doesn't answer. Instead, he reaches the end of the crane, nowhere left to run. He leaps toward a hanging rope. It looks like he might escape, but the rain and the speed of his jump make him lose his grip. His hands slip, and he crashes to the ground below, his body splattering on impact. Elsewhere, Kai's backup finally reaches the office. They report that it looks like someone attacked the place. There's no sign of Sangma or Burger. Kai orders Un to sweep the area and find them fast. Meanwhile, Burger, bruised and limping from Kim's beating, manages to crawl into a nearby car, hoping to escape. But just as he tries to start the engine, Kim appears at the window. He pounds his fist into the glass, shattering it, and tells Burger to get out. Burger smirks because the doors are locked. He starts taunting Kim, thinking he's safe, but Kim just calmly pulls out tools and picks the lock like it's nothing. He opens the door with a click, and Burger's face turns pale. Trembling, Burger pleads with him. He says the girl is in the freezer container. That's where they dumped the body that belonged to the phone. He admits they lied about shipping the body overseas. They actually planned to keep it for some future use. Just then, the rest of the goons catch up to Kim and strike him in the back of the head with a metal pole. But instead of collapsing, Kim turns and unleashes a brutal counterattack. He takes them all down one after another, fists flying like hammers. While this happens, Burger crawls away again, dragging himself into a nearby truck. He throws the driver out, jumps into the seat and drives off. But Kim isn't about to let him get away. He sprints toward the truck, jumps onto the moving container and runs across its top. As he nears the front, he launches himself forward and delivers a flying kick straight through the side window, smashing into Burger. The truck swerves wildly, then veers off the road and plunges into the sea with a splash. People nearby gather in shock, wondering what just happened. Moments later, Kim bursts out of the water, dragging Burger with him. He stomps out of the sea, soaked but relentless, and demands that Burger tell him how to get to the freezer. Back at the container, Kai is still trying to convince Minji to open the door. He warns her she'll freeze to death if she stays in. There. But Minji just cries quietly, curled up and shaking. Kai pauses, then softens his voice and tries a different approach. He tells her maybe they can make a deal. And in the distance, Kim finally arrives, dragging the shivering, terrified Burger behind him. A few kilometers from the port, a convoy of vehicles packed with armed men speeds through the rain-slicked roads. Chairman Ju is finally making his move. He gives a silent nod, signaling the start of the operation. Manager Namam immediately takes control, stepping into command without hesitation. Ju's driver, puzzled, glances at him and quietly asks why they need manager Namam for something like this. It's just nobody trying to blackmail them, right? But Ju doesn't respond. His stern silence speaks louder than words. Meanwhile, back at the container, Kai continues talking through the locked freezer door. His voice is smooth, persuasive. He tells Minji they have no reason to fight. In fact, they want the same thing, to bring down Chairman Ju. He says they should work together and that she should open the door. But Minji isn't fooled. Her voice is weak but firm. She tells him that the moment she steps outside, he'll kill her. She saw what he did to the guard and he can't deny it. Kai chuckles, and then his smile twists into something darker. He admits she's right. He was going to let her live if she had just ignored what she saw. But now that she's confirmed it, now that she's said it out loud, he has no choice. She has to die. That's when he notices Burger stumbling toward him, bruised and bloodied. Kai greets him with a crooked grin and asks why he didn't answer his calls. Then, his eyes narrow. He accuses Burger of betraying him, of making a deal with Chairman Ju behind his back. He doesn't even wait for an answer. Driven by suspicion and paranoia, Kai pulls out a knife and stabs Burger in the gut. This is exactly why Chairman Ju had to mobilize such a force against Kai. Because Kai doesn't trust anyone. That makes him the most dangerous kind of enemy. Burger, struggling to breathe, tries to explain. He points at Kim, who now stands at a distance, soaked from the sea, face hard as stone. He's holding a rope and walking toward Kai with steady steps. But before he can strike, a shadow crashes into him from the side. It's Kangmin. Kangmin is the secret weapon, one of the reasons manager Namam personally took command of the operation. Kangmin is no ordinary man. He's an orphan who was sold in the black market and raised like a machine. Emotionless, obedient, a weapon, forged from pain. Kangmin attacks first. He launches into Kim with a storm of kicks and punches, fast and precise. Kim moves quickly, dodging each strike with grit. Then Kangmin lunges forward and jabs his fingers straight at Kim's eyes, a vicious, blinding attack. Kai watches with full confidence. He believes Kangmin will crush Kim and assumes Kim must be another pawn sent by Chairman Ju. But what happens next shocks everyone. Kim catches Kangmin's hand in midair. There's a sickening crack. Kangmin's fingers are now broken. Kai's expression drops as Kim steps forward, his body pulsing with rage. Kim stares at Kangmin with cold eyes and asks if he's part of this madness too. Then he shrugs off his soaked jacket and prepares for war. Kangmin slowly pulls off his parka, revealing a body covered in scars and bruises from countless battles. The air grows tense as the two charge at each other again, trading a vicious storm of punches and kicks. Kangmin ducks under Kim's punch, grabs his arm, and swiftly locks in an armbar, aiming to snap the joint. But Kim, gritting his teeth, dislocates his own shoulder to escape the hold and uses his free arm to slam a punch into Kangmin's face. With one fluid motion, Kim resets his shoulder and unleashes a furious flurry of strikes, knocking Kangmin back. Kim grabs him and asks if Kai is really his father. Kangmin catches Kim's hand midair and cracks his fingers one by one. Then he tries to lock Kim in another hold, but Kim counters perfectly, flipping the pressure and locking Kangmin's body in a painful grip. Kangmin screams in agony as Kim warns him to stand down or he'll shatter every bone in his body. But before he can finish, Kai rushes forward and delivers a sharp kick to Kim's side, breaking the hold and freeing Kangmin. As Kangmin stumbles away, Kai reminds him with a calm but chilling voice that if he ever finds himself about to lose, he must do anything, even kill. There is no room for weakness. Kim charges at Kai, furious, but Kangmin tackles him out of the way just in time. As he rises, Kangmin rips off his mask, revealing a young, tired face full of pain. He looks at Kai and promises that this time he will kill the enemy. He pulls out a knife and takes his stance again. Kim sees the boy's trembling hands, his wounded spirit. He realizes that Kangmin is barely older than Minji. He doesn't want to kill him, so he chooses a different path. The two clash again. Kangmin slashes and lunges with the blade while Kim dodges every strike with calm precision. Then, Kim catches him, flips him around, and wraps his legs around Kangmin's neck, locking him in a powerful chokehold. As Kangmin struggles, Kim speaks, his voice low and steady. No real father ever demands his child to die for him. Kangmin's body thrashes, gasping for air. Then, something flickers in his eyes. A memory. He sees himself as a child, trapped in a tiny room crawling with bugs. The door creaks open. A trainer enters, cold and emotionless, announcing that his father has arrived, and behind him stands Kai. For the first time in his life, someone claimed to be his family. Kai paid for him. That's what the trainer said. Kangmin had no parents, no records, no ties. No one misses him. He couldn't be traced. All Kai had to do was call himself his father, and the boy would do anything. Over time, Kai trained him to kill, told him it was his duty as a son. Every time he succeeded, Kai would pat him on the head and say he did good. Kangmin remembers overhearing Simon once asking Kai if maybe they should be worried. The boy's becoming an animal, but Kai just laughed and told him that was the point. He's not human. He's property, something they bought and used. As these memories blur through his mind, tears start to stream from Kangmin's eyes. He clenches his teeth and bites down on Kim's thigh hard enough to make him bleed, desperate to escape, desperate to hold on to the only identity he was ever given. But it's not enough. His body gives out. His mind slips. The tears keep flowing as the pain takes over. Kangmin finally passes out from the chokehold, his body going limp. Kim releases him, breathes heavily, and stares at the broken boy lying on the floor. He doesn't hate him. He pities him. Then Kim limps away, blood trailing behind him, as he makes his way toward the freezer, where Minji is still trapped and waiting. Kim suddenly stops in front of the freezer. Inside, Minji is crying, lost in thought, unsure of what to do. The only things around her are frozen fish and the body of the security guard. She remembers everything her father endured, and finally, a plan starts forming in her mind. Outside the freezer, Kai stands waiting for Kim and Kangmin to finish their fight. The tension in the air is thick. Suddenly, he hears the door behind him unlock. Turning around, he opens it and asks Minji why she decided to open the door. But all he finds is a figure under a blanket. He smiles, amused by her plan, and decides to have a little fun with her. Meanwhile, Kim has stopped walking, sensing that Kangmin is back on his feet. He turns and asks if Kangmin truly thinks of himself as just an animal. Without answering, Kangmin charges at him, but Kim swiftly overpowers him, landing a series of punches. Kim warns him that he's only sparing his life because he's not rushing to his daughter's body. Desperate, Kangmin yells at Kim to kill him. He's convinced that if he fails to return to Kai, his so-called father, with the mission unfinished, Kai will kill him. Kim grabs Kangmin by the hair, ready to strike, but instead, he asks him one crucial question. Why would Kai be willing to kill his own son? Kim tells him that Kai isn't his father. Real families don't work like that. Kim walks away, telling Kangmin he's sparing his life because they're about the same age as Minji, and that's what can do for his family. Kangmin collapses to the ground, replaying Kim's words in his mind. He remembers how Kai had always used him, just a tool to stall enemies while Kai made his escape. But before Kangmin can reflect further, Manager Nam stands above him and, without a word, breaks his neck. Back at the freezer, Kai pulls out a knife and stabs the blanket, mocking Minji's plan to pretend to be a corpse. But as he does, Minji, hiding behind him with a frozen fish in her hands, slams it directly into his head. Kai staggers, stunned, and Minji doesn't stop until she's sure he's unconscious. Breathing heavily, Minji stands over him, holding the fish like a weapon. She looks down at Kai, smirking, telling him that her father taught him well. Kim reaches the freezer, his heart pounding in his chest. He looks inside and finds it empty except for Kai, who is lying unconscious on the floor. Kim quickly scans the room and notices some strands of a woman's hair on the ground. He picks up Kai and shakes him, trying to wake him up, but Kai stays limp. Kim slaps him a few times, getting more frustrated, but there is still no response. Kim's eyes then move to the body of the security guard. He sees the deep stab wounds, but Kai has bruises, signs of blunt force trauma. Kim frowns, trying to understand what happened. Did Kai and the guard fight? Something doesn't add up. He feels like there's a missing piece, but he can't figure it out. Then Kim spots something else. There is a message written on the cold floor in what looks like blood. Dad, I'm sorry. I'm scared. Kim's breath catches in his throat as he reads the message. He kneels down to look at it closely, and his heart stops when he realizes it's Minji's handwriting. Shock floods his body. His daughter has been alive all this time. They had believed she was dead, but it turns out they were wrong. They thought she had died because they tried to cover up the truth. Kim's mind races as he tries to make sense of everything. He remembers how everyone thought he was sent by Chairman Ju. His teeth grind together in anger, and in a burst of frustration he starts throwing things around the room. But then he stops himself, taking a deep breath. His daughter is alive, and that's the most important thing. He can't get lost in the confusion. He needs to find her. With one last look at the freezer, he runs out, determined to reach Minji before it's too late. Inside the freezer, Kai slowly starts to wake up. His eyes flicker open and fear and relief rush over him. He had been pretending to be unconscious, scared that Kim might finish him off. But now, as he lies there, another question keeps bothering him. Why had Kangmin let Kim go? His mind races as he tries to understand the situation when he hears the freezer door creaking open. He looks up and sees Burger standing there, locking the door behind him. Kai feels desperate. He calls out, asking what Burger is doing. Was this because Kai had stabbed him earlier? He apologizes, saying he has a bad temper. But Burger doesn't answer. He just curses and blocks the door, refusing to move. Kai's anger grows. He starts threatening Burger, hitting the door with his fists, but it only makes the cold even worse. The minutes go by slowly, and soon the freezing air is unbearable. Kai's teeth start chattering. He demands that Burger open the door. He says Chairman Ju is coming, and if Burger doesn't let him out, they will all be in danger. He kicks the door, but the pain in his feet only makes things worse. Finally, the door creaks open. Kai's heart leaps with hope, but it's not. Burger standing there. It's Manager Nam and Chairman Ju's men. Before Kai can react, Manager Nam pushes him further into the freezer and orders him to open his mouth. Kai's hopes of escaping vanish in an instant. Meanwhile, Kim is running through the port, calling Minji's name. His voice is hoarse from shouting, and the rain keeps drowning out his cries. He's getting more desperate with each step, searching the area for any sign of her. The rain falls harder, making it harder to see and breathe. Eventually, he reaches a dead end. With no other choice, he climbs up onto the containers, hoping to see more from above. After what feels like forever, Kim spots her in the distance. Minji is climbing over a railing, heading toward the streets above. Without thinking, he leaps off the container, determined to reach her before it's too late. Kim tries to get Minji's attention by shouting at her from where he stands, waving his arms and calling for her to turn around. But the distance between them is too wide, and his voice gets lost in the noise. Minji doesn't hear him. She keeps walking toward the road, eyes full of fear and hope. When she sees a car coming, she waves her arms and cries out for help. Inside the car, the woman in the passenger seat notices Minji and tells her husband to stop. She thinks they should help the student standing alone by the roadside. But the husband does not slow down. Instead, he presses the gas harder, and the car speeds past, throwing a splash of muddy water all over Minji. The woman looks at her husband, surprised, and asks why he did that. The man just shrugs and says the girl was probably a scammer. He believes no one with good intentions asks for help on the road anymore. Everyone has phones now, and if someone really needs help, they can call the police. Minji watches the car disappear down the road, tears mixing with the rain and the mud on her face. Meanwhile, Kim rushes to the cliff's edge. He starts climbing up, hands gripping the wet surface, slipping sometimes but refusing to give up. When he finally reaches the top, what he sees stuns him. Back in the freezer, Kai is in pain. Manager Nam is pulling out his golden teeth one by one. Blood stains the floor, and Kai groans in agony. Manager Nam looks cold and angry. He wants to know why Kai keeps blackmailing them. He reminds Kai they spared his life once. Why is he still fighting them now? In the past, Kai used to work for a small service company linked to a big construction group. His job was to clear out poor families from buildings marked for redevelopment. He was rough and effective, and his success got his boss's attention. One night, his boss called him to an old apartment they were targeting. On the rooftop, the boss tells him that the city still won't approve the redevelopment plans. Then, without warning, the boss pushes him off the roof. Days later, the news was full of headlines about a man falling from a broken-down building. The media coverage created public pressure, and the government finally approved the redevelopment. That was the plan all along. But something went wrong. Kai survived the fall. After recovering, he tracked down his old boss and took revenge. He removed him from power and took over his place as the new boss. That was when he received a call from someone who wanted to meet Chairman Ju. When Kai met Chairman Ju for the first time, he could feel it in his gut. This was the man who had planned everything. The fall, the betrayal, the fake kindness. Chairman Ju looked friendly and spoke in a calm voice, but Kai could sense the danger behind the smile. All Kai could think about was how to get revenge and kill him. Chairman Ju notices Kai isn't paying attention and mentions it. Kai answers without respect, saying he doesn't need to listen. Then he curses at Chairman Ju, and the air turns cold. Chairman Ju begins telling a story from his past. He says he also grew up in the countryside. Back then, he had a dog, a wild, angry dog. The dog was dangerous. It even tried to bite him a few times, but they didn't get rid of the dog. They had a special way of taming wild dogs. As he speaks, he signals to his men. They walk forward, carrying a small metal pot. Steam rises from it, and something inside it is boiling. Feral Dog, that was the name of the group Kai had once formed. Maybe that's why Chairman Ju always treated him like a violent dog. Back in the day, when someone wanted to tame wild dogs, they used cruel methods. They shoved hot potatoes and radishes into the dogs' mouths, then pulled out all their teeth. That way, the dogs would feel pain, understand their place, and start obeying their master. After manager Namam pulled out all of Kai's golden teeth, Kai got down on the floor. In front of Chairman Ju, he begged them to stop. He promised to do anything. He said he was ready to live like a dog for them. That day, Kai was fully tamed. From then on, he did whatever they asked. He killed when they said to kill. He crawled on his hands and knees when they told him to kneel. That was how Kai lived. Now in the present, manager Namam looks at him and asks if he wants to get tamed all over again, just like the old days. Kai had tried to blackmail them, but Chairman Ju still thought he could be useful. Kai hears the offer and starts laughing. He calls it pathetic. He asks if the next step is prison. Is he just going to be the cover for their crimes now? Manager Namam leans in close and whispers the real plan. They're going to blame the kidnapping and murder of a high school girl on the politicians who are standing against them. Chairman Ju plans to wrap up every problem into one and push the blame onto their enemies. Kai laughs again, amazed that Chairman Ju pulled all of this together so fast. Kai asks for a cigarette, and manager Namam gives him one, lighting it. Kai takes a deep puff. He then asks what life tastes like. Is it sweet? Bitter? No, he says. To men like them, life only tastes like blood. He suddenly tries to bite his tongue off, but manager Namam reacts quickly. They force his mouth open and stop him. Kai vomits blood onto the freezer floor. Even in pain, he laughs again and warns manager Namam the girl is still alive. That means they are all in trouble now. He tries to say more, to tell them about Minji's father, but manager Namam doesn't let him finish. He punches Kai hard, and this time Kai dies on the spot. Namam turns to his men and tells them to hurry. The girl is still alive, and she's looking for her dad. On the road above, Kim is searching, scanning the winding road, but Minji is already gone. Still, now he knows the truth. His daughter is alive. Elsewhere, Minji manages to get a ride from a passing car. She thanks the driver again and again. Meanwhile, manager Namam reports to the rest of the teams. He says the girl is assumed to be alive, and they need to find both her and her father. But on the other end of the call, a voice says the search for the father can't continue. The police can't locate him. Then a new report arrives, urgent and strange. They can't contact Chairman Ju. He was supposed to be heading their way, but his car passed the port without stopping. No one knows why. That's when the truth hits. The car Minji climbed into was Chairman Ju's own vehicle. While she sleeps peacefully in the back seat, Chairman Ju gives quiet instructions to his driver. He says to clean the girl up once they arrive, and then send her to his room. Now that Kim knows his daughter is still alive, there's no time to waste. He needs to act. He picks up his phone, dials a hidden number, and when the call connects, he asks one question. Is his license to kill still valid? Kim runs along the narrow, twisting road, hoping to catch up to the car that may have taken his daughter. His legs ache, his breath burns, but he doesn't stop. Just when it feels impossible to go any farther, a motorcycle speeds up behind him. It's Hansu. He stops, and Kim quickly climbs on behind him. As they ride, Hansu asks how the mission went. Kim tells him quietly that Minji is alive. Hansu nods and says they need to leave fast. He warns Kim that they will be there soon. By they, Hansu means Detective Kang and his team. After Hansu pushed Kang off the bridge, the detective was later found by his officers near the riverbank. They also found his things. Hansu had used to buy the motorcycle from an old man. Hansu even left a thank you note, teasing Kang for fixing his car. Detective Kang, now dry and angry, clenches his jaw as he reads the note. He shouts for his men to resume the search. Meanwhile, at a private safe house near the port, Chairman Ju steps out of the shower. He's calm, his hair still damp. His aide reports that only manager Namam knows their location, and that Namam will come once he handles the mess at the port. Minji has already showered. She's sitting alone in a guest room, quiet and uneasy. After a few minutes, a maid brings her to the chairman's office. He sends the staff away, leaving just himself, Minji, and a single guard. The chairman gives her a warm smile and asks how she's feeling after her nap in the car. Minji looks around, confused but polite, and says she doesn't remember much, just that she woke up inside a cold freezer. Her eyes fall on a photo on the desk. It's of Chairman Ju holding his daughter high close, smiling. He asks Minji if she remembers anything from the day before. She says no. He nods slowly and asks again, what happened inside the freezer? Minji pauses, then says she saw a man with a beard. He looked scary and came at her with a knife, so she ran away. She says he kept shouting, but she was too scared to understand him. The chairman's smile stretches wider. He asks if Minji and Hai are close at school. Minji shifts nervously and says they aren't that close. Sometimes they argue. The chairman chuckles and says that sounds like Hai. She's a handful, but a good kid. He tells Minji not to hate her too much. Minji listens quietly. Her chest, tightens. Chairman Ju seems like a good father, the kind she always wanted. She can't help herself and asks how much he loves his daughter. He thinks for a moment, then says he loves Hai so much that he would cover up anything she does. Minji's heart drops. The chairman steps closer to her. He says parents are supposed to protect their children, even when the whole world turns against them. A father must stand by his family no matter what. Then he looks into her eyes and asks, why is she asking these questions? Did she remember something? Minji shakes her head and says no. He leans back and calmly asks, if his daughter tried to kill her, what should he do about that? Minji freezes. Her lips part, but no words come out. The chairman stares at her and asks how long she thinks she can keep pretending to have memory loss. He already knew she was faking from the moment she climbed into his car. He had some hope that maybe she really didn't know anything, but when he saw her acting so carefully, he understood that she remembered much more than she let on. He calls over his guard and gives an order. Take care of Minji. Make sure it doesn't hurt. She's still Hai's friend after all. Minji falls to her knees and begs, her voice shaking. She says sorry. She pleads for her life. But the guard reaches into his jacket and pulls out a syringe. As he steps forward, Minji struggles, twisting and pushing against him. Her tears fall, and in a soft, shaking voice she calls for her dad. Then, the doorbell rings. Everyone stops. Outside, Detective Kang and his officers stand at the gate. They tracked the last known coordinates where Code 66's daughter might be found. No one opens the gate. Detective Kang raises his voice and tells his men to break it down. Guards at the house yell back that this is private property, and they need to leave. But Detective Kang doesn't wait. He pulls out his pistol and fires one shot into the air. His voice is cold and clear as he speaks. He says they're not just visitors. They're the government. They do not need permission to enter. At 1:31, Code 66 was seen in the Pyeong seaport. At 1:35, he was spotted chasing someone. At 1:311, a girl believed to be his daughter was seen. At 1:314, she got into a foreign car on a national road, and almost at the same time, Code 66 chased after the car with Hansu. This is the report Detective Kang got from his team just a few minutes earlier. He now suspects that Code 66 is after his daughter, and Hansu, he seems connected to all of this. Detective Kang looks tense. He keeps tapping his finger, thinking hard. Then he makes a decision. They will not continue their original mission. Instead, they will go after Code 66's daughter. Now, we return to the present moment. Detective Kang and his team are facing off with Chairman Ju's men. He fires his gun in the air and tells them they are from the National Special Operations Bureau, the NSO, and they are here under the government's orders. Upstairs, Chairman Ju watches the situation through a window. Detective Kang kicks the door open. His men move fast, checking the inside with their guns ready. Chairman Ju is already inside, waiting calmly. The officers aim their weapons at him. Detective Kang throws his ID toward him and says they have to search the house. They are looking for a suspect, and they believe the chairman's daughter is here. He pulls out a cigarette, ready to light it, but Chairman Ju slaps it from his hand. The chairman says he doesn't mind them kicking the door in or searching the place, but smoking is not allowed. Then he asks the detective what his position is in the NSO. Before Detective Kang can answer, his men call out from another room. They say the house is clear, but Kang tells them to hold on. Another squad is on the way. Outside, more people are approaching the house. Since the chairman seems to know about the NSO, Detective Kang asks him if he's ever heard of the 6 Venus. They are top agents, the best of the best in their fields, and they are coming right here. That can only mean one thing: chairman. Ju is finished. Whatever he's hiding, they will find it. Just outside the house, the 6 Venus is about to go in, but manager Namam is standing by the gate. One of them tells him to step aside, but Namam knocks him back with one blow. Another charges forward, but Namam punches him over and over. Then he tells the team they are trespassing on private property, and his boss told him not to let anyone. And back inside the house, the air is tense between the detective and the chairman. Detective Kang says the warrant will arrive soon. The chairman asks why they came without one. Kang answers that he is not afraid. Once they find something, the paperwork will follow. Suddenly, the door opens and one of the 6 Venus peeks in. Detective Kang calls him over, but the agent falls to the floor. It turns out manager Namam had carried him there and entered the house silently. Detective Kang is stunned, wondering how someone could take down a member of the 6 Venus. Chairman. Ju speaks again. Just like how the detective said he's not afraid, the chairman says he isn't either. Outside, Kim and Hansu are watching the house from a distance. They both know that since the NSO could not arrest Chairman Ju, they will now focus on finding Minji. That must mean she is inside that house. Hansu asks how they are going to get her out. Kim answers without hesitation. They'll do what they always do. He wipes mud on his face for camouflage. Then he looks toward the house and says they should move now. Kim is just about to begin the mission when Hansu suddenly grabs his arm and tells him to wait. From their spot in the distance, they see one of the injured 6 Venus agents rushing to the side of the house and slipping inside. Inside, Detective Kang loses his patience. He grabs Chairman Ju by the collar and says he's acting too bold for someone standing against the National Special Operations Bureau. But just then, one of his subordinates enters the room and delivers bad news. Their request for a warrant has been denied. Even worse, the deputy minister is calling. Detective Kang picks up the phone, and the deputy minister orders him to stop the mission and return to the bureau. The minister scolds him for going too far, especially without proper authorization. Kang's face tightens with rage. He throws the phone across the room and now understands exactly what Chairman Ju meant earlier. The chairman has people in power protecting him. Even deputy ministers are under his control. Furious, Detective Kang starts kicking over chairs and desks. He yells in frustration, realizing just how corrupt everything around him is. But before leaving, he turns to Chairman Ju and warns him. One day, he will pull him down from his throne. With that, Kang storms out of the house with his team. As he reaches the car, Detective Kang leans in and tells the driver to slowly back away, because Minji is already with them. She had been rescued by the 6 Venus while the others were inside. They begin to drive away slowly, but then one of Chairman Ju's men runs out of the house shouting that their captive is missing. Detective Kang gives a small smirk, and the driver steps on the gas. Chairman Ju's men try to stop the car, but it's too late. The team escapes. Back at the house, the chairman's men apologize for letting Minji slip away. Apparently, one of the 6 Venus agents managed to sneak into the underground room and get her out. Chairman Ju frowns, confused. He thought manager Namam had already taken care of the 6 Venus. Manager Namam himself looks troubled. He explains that based on their earlier fight, the 6 Venus members seem too weak to be real special agents. He blames himself for underestimating them. Meanwhile, in the car, Detective Kang is grinning. He never said the 6 Venus were strong fighters. Their true skills are in search and quick rescue missions. That's why the plan worked. Minji, now safe inside the vehicle, thinks back. She remembers how she had been blindfolded and dragged into an underground room by the chairman's men. She could only sit and listen as the sounds of fighting echoed from above. Then someone found her. It was one of the 6 Venus. She tries to thank him, but the agent suddenly narrows his eyes and grabs her by the throat. Within seconds, she loses consciousness. The agent then calmly tells Detective Kang that he knocked her out just in case. The detective chuckles, clearly impressed, and says he hopes the rest of the 6 Venus in the other cars are just as skilled. But what he doesn't know is that in one of those cars, Kim is already inside. He's hiding in the back, staying low. Behind the agents, his arm wrapped tightly with a bundle of deadly string. There are 3 cars moving in Detective Kang's convoy. In the lead car, Detective Kang sits beside his driver, with one 6 Venus member sitting behind him, and Minji lying unconscious beside them. In the third and last car, 4 6 Venus. Agents sit unaware while Manager Kim hides silently among them, his presence unknown. Detective Kang grabs his radio and informs all cars that the target has been secured. He reminds them that this isn't a simple mission, and that from this moment on they must cut off all outside communication. No phones, no radios, no outside contact. After hearing this, one of the younger agents in the last car leans back and asks if they're finally heading back to headquarters. He complains that their boss is obsessed with Code 66 and says he doesn't get what the big deal is. Code 66 was famous once, but now he's just an old story. An older 6 Venus member in the car replied calmly. He says that many years ago, there was a secret negotiation between South Korea and North Korea. It was going to be the first unofficial deal since the war stopped. The strange thing was that North Korea requested the meeting, and the only thing they asked for was Code 66. The official record says that Code 66 is responsible for killing 49 North Korean operatives. That explains why the North desperately wanted him. But the South Korean government told them that Code 66 was already dead. North Korea didn't believe that. They passed along a message to Code 66 himself: stay in hiding and never show his face again. Because in truth, Code 66 had tried to assassinate their leader not once, but twice. The younger agent is shocked. He thought it was only once. The older man explains further. The first time, Code 66 was still a young soldier. The second time, he was trying to leave the military. That day, he held his superior officer hostage and demanded to be released from service. His fellow soldiers tried to calm him down, but he pointed his gun at them and said he would do anything if they just let him walk away. The standoff was tense until one soldier whispered something into the officer's ear. After that, the officer agreed to release him on one condition: he must go on one final mission. While the older agent tells this story, Kim has already moved. Without a sound, he wraps a string around the neck of one of the 6 Venus agents and chokes him out. The older man turns his head to check on his teammate and sees him slumped unconscious. Then he spots Kim lunging toward him. Outside, the vehicle suddenly swerves on the road, catching the attention of the second car. Inside, Kim fights fiercely, knocking out the others one by one. He strangles the driver, pushes him aside, and grabs the wheel. Now Kim is in full control. In the front car, Detective Kang's radio suddenly crackles. He reaches for it, expecting an update from his men. But it's not his squad on the line. It's Kim's voice, calm, sharp, and deadly. Kim tells them he knows Minji is in the car and warns them not to touch her. If they do, he will kill every last one of them. But Detective Kang isn't shaken. He replies that Kim is already too late. They're almost at headquarters. He dares Kim to come and take her back. He even tells him to bring a gift when he comes. Kim doesn't shout or threaten. He just says he'll send something ahead before arriving. After the call ends, Detective Kang orders his team to seal off the entrance to headquarters and tighten security all around. No one gets in or out. As for Minji, he tells them to take her into the basement interrogation room. He smiles coldly, wondering what kind of gift Code 66 could possibly throw at them now. He has no idea that underneath one of the convoy cars, Hansu is already there, clinging to the undercarriage like a silent shadow. Hansu has already infiltrated their facility. The entire INOB headquarters is in chaos with armed soldiers rushing everywhere. Meanwhile, Detective Kang and his team make their way directly to the interrogation room, dragging the unconscious Minji along. One of his men slaps Minji hard to wake her, and she immediately struggles against the ropes binding her. She tries to explain that there must be some kind of misunderstanding, but Detective Kang interrupts, asking if she even knows what kind of person her father truly is. Minji is confused at the mention of her father, her mind spinning. She tries to explain that he's just a regular dad, like anyone else's, and begs them to untie her. Detective Kang, however, firmly informs her that her father was a spy, a dangerous one at that. Minji's eyes widened in disbelief as the words hit her. Kang continues, saying that Kim is so notorious that even foreign governments are after him. He was supposed to stay under the radar, out of sight, but one wrong move from him and spies came crawling out of places like North Korea. Now, they're in a tough spot, because Kim has gotten tangled up in far too many things. He was supposed to remain quiet, but now, after 19 years of staying low, he's causing destruction everywhere he goes. And it looks like her father is still involved with the John construction, something Minji has no idea about. Detective Kang then looks at her, asking if she has any idea why. The mention of John construction makes Minji think of he, her rival, and the fights they've had. She mentions this to the detective, who then remembers how Kim had warned on the radio earlier not to hurt his daughter. This revelation stuns him. Code 66, Kim, decided to come out of hiding over something as trivial as a fight between teenagers, because of his daughter. He was furious, and all of this chaos is happening just because some kids had a quarrel. Meanwhile, Kim, still on the run, finds some top-secret documents in the car he hijacked. Back at the base, Detective Kang is fuming. He orders his men to shoot Code 66 on sight, making it look like a mistake. He can't forgive Kim for causing such a ruckus over a petty fight involving his daughter. Just then, a soldier knocks on the door, informing Kang that the deputy minister is looking for him. Reluctantly, he leaves his men to guard Minji and heads off to meet his superior. Minji, still processing the shock of learning her father was a former spy, wonders why he's out there searching for her. She can't shake the thought that her father, the man who's supposed to stay hidden, is now risking everything. Suddenly, she sees someone watching her through the window. She gasps in surprise. The 6 Venus guard standing watch sees her reaction and turns to scan the room. Seeing no one, he sneers at Minji, warning her that no one is coming to save her, so she might as well stay quiet. With that, he walks out to investigate, certain that someone is lurking around. He searches the corridor but finds nothing. What he doesn't know is that Hansu is right above him, hidden by the wires and pipes. Without making a sound, Hansu drops down, delivering a precise kick that knocks the guard unconscious. With the 6 Venus member out cold, Hansu slips into the interrogation room, a smile creeping onto his face. He approaches Minji and tells her it's time to go. Her father is waiting.